Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll discuss about the skin. We have two skin slides, that's a thick skin and a thin skin. Both have two main components, the epidermis and the dermis. Epidermis is avascular and mainly it is the epithelium, stratified squamous keratinized epithelium. In the thick skin, the epidermis has 5 layers. The first layer is called stratum basale or germinativum. These cells are small cuboidal to low columnar. They are closely spaced nuclei and exhibit extensive cell junctions. They are the one which synthesizes the next layers. The second layer is stratum spinosum. Here the cells are polygonal and are connected to one another by desmosomes, that's a cell junction. So when we prepare the cell will shrink, but the connection between the cells will appear as a spikes. That's why they are called spinosum or also called prickle cells. So make sure you don't leave any gap between these polygonal cells. These are the sweat gland ducts, the secretory ducts. You can write after writing the epithelium or in between only, in beginning only you can write, and so that there is no overlap between the duct cells and the layers. The third layer is stratum granulosum. The name itself says these cells contain granules. It is 1 to 3 cell thick and they contain keratohyalin granules which contain a cysteine rich protein aggregates which are intensely basophilic. The next layer is the stratum lucidum. Here the cells, lucidum is a transparent layer, refractile appearance, and you can nicely see it is a transparent layer in the slide. The fifth layer is a stratum corneum. The thickness varies in between thick and thin skin. In thick skin it is very thick. The stratum corneum represents the dead cells. So there is no nuclei in the stratum corneum. Make sure you write the proper nucleus. The basal cells are their low columnar oval nucleus. For the spinosum, the round nucleus. For the granulosum, flat nucleus. Because they are horizontally flat, the cells are becoming flatter as from the granulosum onwards. We also have to show some granules, keratohyalin granules. Either you can do it with the hematoxylin, the dark blue color granules, or with the lead pencils. You can nicely see in the slides the dark granular layers. Only for the granulosum layer cells. This is the epidermis. You have to show all the 5 layers in the thick skin. Coming to the dermis, it is vascular and is derived from the mesoderm. It is divided into papillary dermis, which forms a extension into the epidermis, and reticular dermis, which is the lower part, where the collagen fibers form a network like reticular formation. Here it is an irregularly arranged connective tissue. Can show the irregular arrangement of bundles of collagen, and also the secretory part. The sweat glands are very abundant in the thick skin. You'll have a secretory part and a conducting part. Secretory part, the cells are cuboidal to low columnar cells, and they secrete the fluid, and here the secretory part is highly coiled. That's why you'll get sections of it. And the conducting part transfer the secretion to the surface. So below the reticular dermis, we have a hypodermis which attaches the skin to the underlying structure. It is rich in adipose tissue, so write a group of cells adipocytes. As the dermis is vascular, you have to write a few blood vessels, and it is also contains the nerves. So you can write some few nerves also. Don't forget to keep the nuclei of the fibroblast which synthesizes the collagen. Coming to the thin skin, here the thickness of epidermis is low compared to thick skin. And you also have the appendages of the skin, that is the hair and its appendages. So when you're writing a hair, usually they'll write it with a lead pencil. Don't write a straight hair. Usually when you see in our skin also, the hair will be slant appearance. So it will be directed to one side. So make sure when you're writing a hair, direct either to the right or left side, but one side it has to be slanted. The epidermis here has only 4 layers. The basal layer, the stratum basale, is similar. It is a columnar epithelium. The second layer is also same, but the number of layers are less. Here we have only 2 to 3 layers of polygonal cells in the stratum spinosum. So in the similar way, write the polygonal cells which are connected to one another, but the number of layers should be 2 to 3. And stratum granulosum, here also 1 or 2 layers will be there. There is no stratum lucidum, but stratum corneum also the thickness is very less. Coming to the hair, which is regarded as a modified part of the stratum corneum. It has a shaft which is seen outside and the root which is embedded within the skin. Hair is made up of a medulla surrounded by a cortex which is derived from the stratum corneum and surrounding that a thin layer of cuticle. The root is surrounded by a dermoepidermal covering that is called inner root sheath and outer root sheath. The inner root sheath contains Huxley's layer and Henle's layer. The Huxley's layer is derived from the stratum granulosum. The outer root sheath are derived from stratum spinosum. We have a grape-like bunches of glands. These are sebaceous glands which open into the hair follicle. The junction between the surface and the the opening of the sebaceous gland is called infundibulum. They are filled with the cells which with a very narrow lumen and they are holocrine type of glands. These secretion will lubricate the hair. Block in this secretion will leads to pimple. We also have arrector pili muscle which connects the dermal papilla and the bulb of the hair. So when it's a smooth muscle, so when it contracts, it will straighten the hair, which leads to goosebumps. So the epidermis, the epidermal projection is the hair follicle, the root. You also have to write the sweat glands. The similar to the thick skin, we have a secretory part and a conducting part. At least one set of secretory and conducting part you should write on one below the other. Secretory part below the conducting part. The dermis is made up of dense irregular connective tissue. So show the irregular fibers running there, and also the hypodermis which is mainly contains the fat. So write few adipose cells which represent the hypodermis. So write the blood vessels and between nerves in the dermis. Nerves are wavy structures. These are the blood vessels. The nerves you can write like this. It's a bulb, Pacinian corpuscles, Meissner's corpuscles, you can see. You can also write a cut section of a hair follicle representing a central hair surrounded by inner root sheath and an outer root sheath. So this is the thin skin. Apart the layers of epidermis, only 4 layers, and in the dermis the same sweat glands you have to write, sebaceous gland and arrector pili muscle. Make sure I write the hair follicle. So if you like the video, please press the like button, share with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.